John and Mary fall in love and get married. They both have worthwhile jobs, which they find stimulating and challenging. They buy a charming house. Real estate values go up. Eventually, when they can afford live-in help, they have 2 children, to whom they are devoted. The children turn out well. John and Mary have stimulating and challenging sex life and worthwhile friends. They go on fun vacations together. They retire. They both have hobbies, which they find stimulating and challenging. Eventually, they die! This is the end of the story.
He wakes up. He doesn't even notice. He puts on his socks and his shorts and his pants and his shirt and his tie and his shoes, the reverse order from the one in which he took them off. He doesn't take off Mary's clothes. She takes them off herself. She acts as if she's dying for it every time. Not because she likes sex exactly, she doesn't. But she wants John to think she does because if they do it often enough, surely he'll get used to her. He'll come to depend on her and they will get married. But John goes out the door with hardly so much as a good night, and 3 days later he turns up at 6 o'clock and they do the whole thing over again. One evening, John complains about the food. He has never complained about her food before.
It sucks.
Mary is hurt.
Her friends tell her they've seen him in a restaurant with another woman, whose name is Madge. It's not even Madge that finally gets to Mary, it's the restaurant. John has never taken Mary to a restaurant.
Mary collects all the sleeping pills and aspirins she can find, and takes them in a half a bottle of sherry. You can see what kind of woman she is by the fact that it's not even whiskey. She leaves a note for John. She hopes he'll discover her and gets her to the hospital in time and repent and they can get married, but this fails to happen and she dies. John marries Madge and everything continues as an A.
John, who is an older man, falls in love with Mary, and Mary, who is only 22, feels sorry for him because he's worried about his hair falling out. She sleeps with him even though she's not in love with him. She met him at work.
She's in love with someone called James, who is 22 also, and not yet ready to settle down. John, on the contrary, settled down long ago. This is what is bothering him. John has a steady, respectable job and is getting ahead in his field, but Mary isn't impressed by him. She's impressed by James, who has a motorcycle and a fabulous record collection. But James is often away on his motorcycle, being free. Freedom isn't the same for girls.
So in the meantime, Mary spends Thursday evening with John. John tells Mary how important she is to him, but of course he can't leave his wife because a commitment is a commitment. He goes on about this more than is necessary, and Mary finds it boring.
One day, James breezes in on his motorcycle with some top-grade California hybrid, and James and Mary get higher than you'd believe possible, and they climb into bed.
But along comes John, who has the key to Mary's apartment. He finds them stoned and entwined. He's hardly in any position to be jealous considering Madge, but nevertheless, he's overcome with despair. Finally, he's middle-aged. In 2 years, he'll be as bald as an egg, and he can't stand it. He purchases a handgun, saying he needs it for target practice, and shoots the 2 of them himself.
Madge, after a suitable period of mourning, marries an understanding man called Fred, and everything continues as an A, but under different names. Fred and Madge have no problems. They get along exceptionally well. Yes, but Fred has a bad heart. The rest of the story is about how kind and understanding they both are until Fred dies. Then Madge devotes herself to charity work until the end of A. If you like it, it can be Madge. Cancer, Guilty and Confused, and Birdwatching.
The only authentic ending is the one provided here. John and Mary die. John and Mary die. John and Mary die.